In this section, we'll apply the 3 legal infrastructure tools: contracts, insurance, and entity, specifically to employment and human resources. Human resources, the people side of the business, is one of the most rewarding, but also one of the riskiest areas of being a business owner. Employers are held to a high legal standard, and entrepreneurs often aren't fully aware of the risks associated with employment compliance. The laws are state-specific, and they change regularly. It's hard for business leaders to keep up, but it's critical to do so. Let's apply the 3 legal infrastructure tools to employment relationships. If we go back to the purpose of contracts, to eliminate ambiguity, set expectations, and insulate risk. Much of employment law is statutory, meaning you can't simply avoid compliance through contract. But your contracts set the stage for your expectations within the context of the law. The most common contracts of employment include the offer letter, or the employment agreement, and any confidentiality or restrictive covenants agreements that your employees sign. Other documents that set expectations for the employer-employee relationship are your employee handbook and policies and procedures documents. By formalizing expectations in writing, you force yourself to think about the terms of the relationship, frame the company culture for your team, and give yourself the tools to make employment decisions. Clear expectations and the consistent application of these expectations will limit liability exposure every day. These contracts should be reviewed annually for compliance with laws, and as you expand into new states, this becomes even more important since the laws in each state differ and change. Insurance is an often overlooked tool in protecting an employer. Coverage for errors and omissions or professional liability protects the business from claims made against the company due to an error by an employee. Employment Practice Liability Insurance, or EPLI, protects the employer from claims made by employees against the company for a violation of their workplace rights, such as harassment. As your workforce expands, the potential for claims increase, and the insurance provides you the confidence to grow. The entity in this case provides a general tool to limit the exposure of employment liability against the owners. If there's a claim against the company, the owners generally won't be responsible. However, an owner who has violated the law by failing to pay wages or has discriminated against an employee will be individually named and could be held personally liable. The corporate veil will not protect them from these violations. Solid processes can add protection and mitigate the chances that you inadvertently miss an important legal requirement. Employment liability can derail a company's progress and its financial security. Mitigating risk in employment includes proactively staying on top of changes in the law, building policies and procedures, and applying them equally. As mentioned above, the legal infrastructure tools of contracts and insurance will be your strongest protections in this area. With a thoughtful implementation of these tools, you'll have the confidence in making decisions in a highly emotional and constantly changing landscape, and you'll be able to quickly react to employment situations when they arise. Now let's take a look at how to apply these tools to your employment practices in Section 6 of the workbook.